Death. You know what my favorite thing about death is? It's black. But what is death really? Let's ask Emily Dickinson. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves into immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too for his civility. Okay, a little bit of a Eminem, Marshall Mathers rhyme scheme going on here. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed this. Okay, so no, she's not rhyming. Okay, no, we're done here. It's not rhyming. We're done here, bro. We're done here. There are currently two characters who are destined to dance with the devil in 5.3, Xilonens and Mavuika. Xilonens has something to do with an ancient name. I don't know, man. I haven't played her story quests yet. Mavuikas, however, her death is, just a tad more interesting, because the one who will be delivering her death unto her is the shade of death, Ronova. That's what would have made the most sense, but that doesn't seem to be what's happening, no. Instead, something far more asinine appears to be brewing behind the scenes. Here is the problem with Mavuika's death. First off, we must explain why Mavuika should die, and it's simple. Mavuika used the ruler of death's power, and the price for using that power is death.
What did you see? Death. How?
A key part of Mavuika's plan is using the 6 heroes to release the power Xbalanque obtained from the ruler of death. Considering its origins, the price of using that power is death.
Furthermore, depending on your, positions when it comes to free will, fate, and the nature of time, Mavuika is already dead, given Citlali saw her death in, some weird fucking voodoo ritual. Now with that said, it seems like Hoyo has laid out the stakes pretty darn good, and while doing so, they already gave us at least 2 ways in which Mavuika doesn't actually die. The first is, something I don't personally see happening, but, it'd make for a spicy twist. And it's Mavuika just tries to run from the consequences, hits him with the, more, think about it, I got a little too much to live for. When Ronova was speaking to Xbalanque, she said this.
No, a fear of death is ingrained in all living things. If the wielder of this power cannot conquer their fear, countless innocent lives will be claimed in their stead. For only then can the price be paid. Those are the rules.
So it seems like if Mavuika cannot accept her death and tries to run from it, the ruler of death will actually accept these turn of events, and instead will claim the lives of countless innocents in her stead. Yeah, we've all seen Mavuika's character. That isn't happening. And what's more, Yehudabich told us Mavuika has long been aware of Renova's rules and long accepted her future death.
Mavuika knows about all this, doesn't she?
Yes. I imagine she has long accepted this eventuality.
So what's the second way in which Mavuika can avoid her death in 5.3? This is the one I deem to be especially problematic, not because it's the most likely to happen, but because it just makes no fucking sense. The answer is quite simple, my friends. The Traveler.
That's why I need the Traveler's power. I need the power of a Descender.
Don't forget, Citlali. Even if it may seem like someone is fated to die, the nature of death and fate are different. Fate indicates what will happen in the future. The time, manner, and place are all predetermined. But death is different. Death is a rule. The ruler of death's power will allow Mavuika to triumph over the abyss. But she must offer her own life in the process. The ruler of death cares little for the time and manner of a death. She simply guarantees that it will occur. Fate may be able to influence the timing, but that is all the Traveler can change.
Put simply, the Traveler can't stop Mavuika's death, but he can delay it for... we weren't given a time frame. To me, this whole scene was, disastrous. Feels like they were meant to be laying out the groundwork for Mavuika's death, but we're like trying to make a skyscraper out of fucking mud. Dude, we just start getting the most horrid information imaginable. The idea that the ruler of death doesn't care about the timing of death is just, it feels batshit to me. If death is inevitable to all that live, then why would the ruler of death not care when the person who wields her power dies? It doesn't make sense. Mavuika is going to die regardless because she's a human. She's got like, I don't know, maybe 80 years left, and then she's just tapping out. You know, what is the point of putting the stipulation on your power if you don't care when the death comes? If Mavuika goes on to die a normal death of like heart failure or some shit, then there was no price for using the power. You need to care about when the death comes, otherwise this whole thing is just pointless. So she doesn't care about the time. It feels so unbelievably arbitrary and just like overlooks the natural cycle of life and death of the person who has the power. So what, is this just like a stipulation only for gods? Because gods, I guess, just die whenever they fucking get killed. But if a human just uses the power, that's it? The rules are just out the fucking window? It don't matter anymore? Well, I guess it's a great thing that only the archons of Natlan are able to do this, and they're all fucking human. Wait, was that the plan? Wait, hold up. Hey, whoa. Was Xbalanque cooking? Is that what's going on here? Forgive me, Hoyo. I wasn't familiar with your game. He got the power as the first archon and said, wait, hold on a second. If we make long-lived species the archons and they are ever in a position where they need to use Ronova's power and they die, then trying to replace them could be problematic. But if we make short-lived species the archons, say humans, yeah, what a wild idea, humans governing themselves, and come up with a system that continuously replaces them, then using Ronova's power wouldn't be so bad, because should they die, we already have a system in place to get a new pyro archon. Is that what's going on here, bro? Interesting. If that is what's going on here, then Mavuika is going to be the first archon to break the precedent of the archons that use Ronova's power. What do I mean? Well, if the system was set up to ensure that the untimely passing of the pyro archon didn't just like stop Natlan because they could just throw in a new pyro archon with the rules, then Mavuika putting off her death with the help of the Traveler wouldn't break the system, but would put it on hold. See, Lolly saw Mavuika's death, so we know right now it's in her near future. Should the death come to pass, Natlan would have no trouble marching forth because the existing rules say how a new pyro archon is chosen. The biggest hindrance to all this should in theory be the Shade of Death Ronova, who really should be more mindful of the timing of the death. It should be immediate, if we're being completely honest. But given for some reason she just doesn't care when the death comes, it seems like this can all go off without a hitch. And you, stupid bitch, you wonder why the heavenly principles forsook you. I'll let spit on your grave.